All right, Brother Chaz and the panelists, everybody ready? Outstanding. Good evening, my brothers. This is now being recorded. I want to thank everybody for joining us this evening. Welcome, everybody. This is our second in our Brotherhood Enrichment series. We just decided to bring some enlightenment to some various subjects and bring it out to the Brotherhood and allow people to just learn a little bit as we're still dealing with this COVID pandemic. We're starting to see things open up, but we still want to provide brothers opportunities to engage and discuss things. And tonight, we wanted to speak on segments that are working within the arts. Oftentimes in our organization, we do a lot of concentration on STEM and academia and education and things of that nature, but we don't often talk about our brothers who are artistically talented and how we can support them. And so what I wanted to do was just kind of bring a panel of brothers together to just discuss, their journey, some of the pitfalls they may have had to go through, challenges they face, how they've overcome them, taking that passion that they have, an artistic flair, and turning it into a business or it's into profit, and just allowing for us to just have a discussion about that. And maybe we might be able to enlighten some other younger brothers that are interested in it, or it might be some older brothers that, hey, I want to go down that path and start off something different, or go into an entrepreneurial aspect of it. So with that, I want to thank everybody, thank our moderator, thank all of our panelists for joining us. And again, thank the brothers for being out here tonight. So having no further adu, I want to introduce our moderator for the evening. It's Brother Chazwick Clark, call him Chaz. He's from Fort Lauderdale. He is a spring 20 initiate of the hard Alpha Eta chapter at Florida A&M University. Third year student there, majoring in theater, performing, and business administration. His goals after graduation is to go and get his MBA in fine arts. And then he said he's off to Atlanta to start his acting career. Now, Chaz, I'm down with everything except for that off to Atlanta part, man. We're going to keep you in Florida. We're going to have to do something. We may talk about this in this discussion, that we build up some studio work or something right here so we can keep you right where you need to be, bruh. But if you go to ATL, we got your back too. Florida's always with you. So without any further ado, brothers, Brother Chaz Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Grant. I appreciate that. He kind of said everything. So as he stated, I am the moderator for tonight, and I want to thank you all for allowing me to be here. I'm just gonna go ahead and introduce our panelists for tonight, and I have some bios to read, so bear with me. So first up, we have Brian Williams. Mr. Brian Williams is from St. Petersburg, Florida, and began working with Student Support Services at University of South Florida in January of 2016. He earned his Bachelor's of Arts in Psychology from Florida State University and a minor in African American Studies with an emphasis on child development. He also has a master's degree in marriage and family therapy from Nova Southeastern University. Mr. Williams is a proud member of Progressive Black Men Incorporated and Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Brian started Life is a Hustle Entertainment, LIAH ENT, in 2006 as mainly an apparel company, but shirt sales eventually helped graduate LIAH into entertainment. Since then, he has promoted and helped organize events in Tallahassee, such as Sigma Splashdown Weekend, which promoted several clubs in downtown Orlando, and he is also the head promoter for Wild 'N Out Wednesdays comedy shows. He now hosts a monthly poetry show in Orlando called Essence of the Soul. He has spent years working with at-risk youth in the Orlando community, ranging from Orange County Public Schools to the juvenile court system, as well as being over a youth auxiliary that focuses on mentoring young males and assisting them with the process of getting into college. While now working at University of South Florida in Tampa, Mr. Williams currently works as a counselor for Student Support Services, which is a program geared towards helping first generation or low income students succeed in college. He serves as the advisor for students striving to be successful, the S Club, and is the mentor and founder of Brothers Reaching Ultimate Heights, BRUH. Introducing Mr. Williams. Next up, we have Mr. Kevin. Brother Kevin Lawson is the owner and creative director of KVL Media, a digital media studio that produces visual content and marketing campaigns. For the past 15 years, he has been doing photography, video, and marketing for entrepreneurs and small businesses. He's best known for providing headshots to hundreds of local entrepreneurs, leaders in government, and professionals across many industries. Kevin holds a bachelor's of marketing from the University of Central Florida and master's of entertainment business from Full Sail University. As a creative, Kevin has a passion for the arts and entrepreneurship. His mission is to build community around collaboration, new ideas, and social empowerment. His West Palm Beach studio is a place for local creatives and entrepreneurs alike to produce exceptional visual content and obtain mentorship. Kevin's dream is to provide the youth opportunities to pursue a career in digital media and entrepreneurship. Everyone, Brother Kevin Lawson. And our other panelists would like to introduce themselves.
Is there an order?
I go first, Brandon.
Okay, no worries, man. Hi, everybody. My name is Brandon Payne. I'm a founder and CEO of a movement called We the Future Movement. It's focused on connecting creatives and artists to their professional side, essentially. It's something that any of the bros that know me, that's essentially what I've been doing my whole life. So now to finally have a platform to kind of provide that for upcoming artists is really cool to me. So I'm an entrepreneurial artist, also based out of Fort Lauderdale. I'm from the Higher Road chapter of Phi Beta Sigma at UCF. I have my bachelor's degree in hospitality management with a focus in event management. So I've been throwing shows and festivals and pretty much different art events pretty much since college. While I was in college, I was throwing the firm weekends yearly alongside a few of my line brothers. And yeah, my whole goal is just to connect artists to their professional side. That's something I've been talking to Rube about for a long time. So thank you for bringing this together and connecting all the big bros that's in the same kind of wave, you know, the creative entrepreneurial vibe. So I appreciate you guys.
All right, good evening, everyone. I am Victor Crispin. I am the employee here at Edward Waters College. I'm the director of the Black Male College Explorers Program, and I'm also the assistant director of student leadership and activities here, where I oversee Royal Court and the SGA here at Edward Waters College. Outside of my work, I am also the owner of Johannes Performing Arts Company here in Jacksonville, Florida, where we focus on displaying why we believe that the performing arts is an integral part of human life. I've been doing this for a while, and I'm so excited to be here and share all of my wisdom and keys of nuggets with you all today. And I'm also initiate of the Alpha Eta chapter of Phi Beta Sigma.
Thank you so much, Victor and Brandon. Is there any other panelists here that would like to introduce himself?
That's the 4 for you, bro.
Awesome. So we'll get started right away. The first question I would like to ask to all of the panelists is, what kind of inspired you to get started with your business or get you started in the arts in general?
I guess I'll shoot out first. Well, never mind, Brandon can go ahead.
Nah. Personally, I mean, I just was always interested in art and making music and writing and things like that since I was little. I'm trying to write books and all kind of stuff when I was small. At high school, I did suffer a loss that kind of brought purpose to it. Before then, I was making music just to, you know, sound like Lil Wayne or sound like things that was already out. But at that point, it definitely showed me that there's power in, you know, telling your story. Because here I was, a 16-year-old, 17-year-old kid going into my senior year of college or high school, and I'm affecting people's lives just by telling them how sad I am. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of grew into a strength. And, you know, going through college, I seen how that was also building up. So it's something that's always been around. I think we all born with gifts. We just don't often have the time to pursue it. I'm just one of those people that really stuck to it. And same thing with everybody in here. We just kind of stuck with our gifts.
With me, I guess I kind of dabble in different types of, I guess, fields of art, be it promotion as well as writing. But I think it all started with me writing poetry and short stories when I was like in elementary school, and I would get like a little awards for them. But initially, what got my passion into writing music and further into poetry was, I think a young woman wrote a poem in Tallahassee I didn't agree with, and for some reason it just sparked me to write again. And I wrote a rebuttal to what her poem was, and she kind of didn't have much to say to it. And then, speaking of Fort Lauderdale, I had a couple of friends from Fort Lauderdale and PBM, and they just introduced me to a studio one day. And I just wrote my first 16 and got hella compliments off my first writing, which led to performing and things of that nature. So that's kind of where my passion came from. It's kind of like it's always been there. I just needed to go back and I guess reharness it, and I needed something to inspire me to get writing. So that was pretty much how it first started for me. Then I just started doing it behind the scenes, singing, promoting poetry, because I made it more fun too.
So for me, I've always had a passion for business and entrepreneurship and art. And as I got older, more so in the college life, that's when I kind of started mixing them all together. But hold on, first let me back up. I'm summer 2004, last summer line. Iota Rho chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. I know that wasn't part of my bio. So 4 Club, where the 4 is at? Where the 4 is at? Where the 4 is at? Somebody. Ain't no 4s? You already know. But how I got into to the industry is, I actually, when I started UCF, I started working with Zach Taylor, who's frat as well, another member of Iota Rho chapter of Phi Beta Sigma. He wanted to start a modeling agency, so I was like, all right, I'll help you recruit models. So as part of that, we started doing a lot of behind the scenes pictures and videos and things like that, and just kind of continued to grow from there. Zach gave me my first camera, or let me use his first camera. And that's pretty much how I got started into the field. And that was it. We were recruiting models. We were shooting a lot of music videos. We were recruiting models for different videos in Orlando that was shot in Orlando. We were getting published in different magazines and things like that. And people just kind of kept asking me to do their pictures more and more. So it just kind of continued to grow from there. So although I was always growing up selling candy, selling mixtapes in school and all that kind of stuff, my real professional career started my sophomore year in college working with Zach.
I actually can't even remember how I got started in this. I just think, growing up, always loving to sing and dance and do stuff, I just kind of like fell into it. But from a professional side, I know I pursued it more because of the stigmas that Black men don't do this, Black men don't dance, Black men don't sing, Black men don't act. And of course, I wanted to provide a platform for everybody to dispel that myth. So even in my performing arts company, I cultivate those who wouldn't normally go out and audition for a part in a play because they are quote unquote not the image that everybody wants. So I wanted to provide someone with that opportunity to, regardless of how you look, what's your preference or anything, you had the opportunity to do what you love on the stage. So that's how I kind of fell into this industry.
I love it, panelists. So I think there was a kind of consensus that you all came to this kind of just growing up, you felt a love for the passion, for the arts, for music, for dance. And I think Victor was kind of touching on it, but do you all believe that there were any obstacles while you were trying to pursue these? I know Victor was talking about the stigmas, but were there any other obstacles that you all felt like through your lifetime stood in the way of you pursuing these goals or in the arts?
Yeah, I'll pick back up on that. I think, growing up, I was always tall all my life. So my dad was like, yep, you're about to be Baby Shaq. So I played basketball, and people, if they know me now, I'm like, what? You play basketball? But I played basketball growing up because that was the manly thing to do. My grandma and my mom always knew like I had the gift to sing and to dance and stuff like that. But because that wasn't a thing, I was forced to play basketball. So it was until like, I think my 8th grade or 9th grade year in high school, in 9th grade year in high school, I was like, well, I hurt myself playing basketball my 8th grade year, and I wasn't playing again because I fractured my cartilage, and that recovery time was just too bad. So I was like, well, I'm going to do what I want to do. Started dancing, started singing, and they was like, dang, we really slept on you. If we would have put you in classes, if we would have really promoted what you wanted to do at an earlier age, you could be so much further. So definitely that would probably be my biggest obstacle, is just that, the Black family really didn't support it growing up. Not saying my family didn't, but they didn't push me to do it because worried about what auntie and uncle gonna say about your singing son or your dancing son, So I think that was probably one of the biggest obstacles I have had to overcome.
Kev, you talking? You on mute, bro? You can go ahead.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I guess one of the biggest obstacles is similar to what you just said, Victor, is like growing up, there wasn't really a movement to like you can make money as an art. And coming from a Jamaican household, like if you're not a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or whatever, like you don't really have a career, you're not gonna be making money, you're gonna be a failure at life. So although I always loved art in different aspects, whether it was drawing, painting, doing photography, shooting videos, all of that kind of stuff, I never really saw it as a career move. So I would say that's one of the biggest obstacles that I guess I would have, although it didn't really hold me back from pursuing it as a hobby or just doing it. I never really saw it as a potential career move. So that's really kind of the only thing that kind of held me back, is I didn't realize that you can actually make money off of this.
I would 100% agree with that. That was probably my biggest setback too. I guess I didn't see it as an obstacle at the time because I just enjoyed doing it. But not connecting it to the money definitely made it harder. And it makes you almost not like it, especially when you start trying to put the art as your income source, because at that point it's like, if I don't do this, I'm not eating. But dang, I was doing this because I just loved it in the first place. So yeah, I definitely went through those phases as well, just not knowing how to connect it business wise. And same thing, what was his name? Sorry, Victor, you were mentioning too, just in the Black, I don't know if it's just the Black household, but definitely, just from us coming up, it's more so looking at what's going to be beneficial to the family. And art is definitely not looked at as something beneficial to the family. But I will say now, especially working with kids, that's changing. I'm seeing the parents actually see an art pursuit as a viable source of income, to where their kid can get on at 4 years old and change the whole family. Now your kid is as an actual resource. Like, you're not just having a kid and it's holding you back in any kind of way. It's like, no, my kid is an investment. If I can help them hone their skills, they can actually change our whole family.
I guess my obstacles were a little different. Some similar, some the same. I actually had a lot of support, from my one parent, my mother. She just always told me, just whatever you want to do it. I guess my thing is, because since when it comes to the arts, as much as I write music and enjoy poetry, I was really on the promotion side of things. So I love just promoting anything I thought was great, be it concerts, be it comedy shows, and now just doing poetry shows and hosting that. But one of the biggest obstacles, I think, especially when it came to the music side, and just by the way, forgot to let y'all know, Summer 02, Mighty Me Upsilon chapter number 3, The Tell. Yes, I am that. Anyway, Florida State. But one of the hardest things for me, I guess, when I just started getting into the music part of it, was the support. Just trying to get love. You have to have a fan base. So, and then when it came to promoting, my biggest things, and Kev will probably tell you, I was promoting everything by myself. There was no Life is a Hustle entertainment team. It was Butch. You know what I'm saying? So it was just one of those things. That was one of the biggest obstacles. It's just like sometimes just having to grind so hard and so much by yourself and do so much on your own, and so much, everything is on your shoulders. Like Brandon was saying, you may not eat, or, when I had a daughter, it was like I needed this side money. So now I really need to promote this show. I need to make sure we fill up this comedy show every freaking month on a third Wednesday, which is a weird day of the week, but we got to grind. And I was the head promoter. So, it was those type of obstacles of just sometimes needing more money to help out with the grind. And if you don't have that, you just got to grind it out and figure it out. And, when it came to music, if you don't have a fan base, you don't got a lot of support, it's just hard to get that first love. A lot of it is just displaying your talent, showing people. And I, like Brandon, I give Brandon a lot of props for that, because I used to always see B out there grinding. I used to always see Kev out there grinding with the pictures and getting magazines. So, I mean, for all the panelists, I'm sure Victor's the same way. For all of us, it's more about, sometimes you just got to put everything on your back and run with it. And if no one believes in you, you got to.
Wow, that was powerful. And I think Brian was touching on that too. So I guess the next question would be, what was your biggest motivation to keep grinding, keep going? Because I know Brian was talking about his daughter, providing for her. So what was that motivation?
Yeah, I keep it running real quick. My biggest motivation, and what I have to say is my mom at first, before she passed. It was my mom, because like I was in grad school going into my 30s, and I was like, Mom, I think I want to do hip hop. She was like, you would think a parent be like, boy, you 30, or you about to be 30. You better go, you finish this master's, become a marriage counselor, get out my face. But my mother would kind of looked at me and she was like, do it. And now I instill that in my daughter. I don't care what her mother says she can and can't do. When my daughter say, I want to sing, Daddy, blow your lungs out, girl, in my face. I don't care if you sound like a cat with his tail stepped on. You gonna scream and holler and sing Moana in my face, because this is what you want to do. So that was one of the biggest things. My grind was just understanding that, hey, someone says I can do this. And all it took was Brad listening to me rap, and they kept pushing me, say, dude, you like the best in the chapter. So, that was kind of like the motivation. But yeah, when it came after my mother passed, my daughter was a new inspiration to keep the grind going. And just the fact, all it takes is one person to say what you're doing is good, or I like what you did. And that can be that one thing when you're feeling down and feeling discouraged. That one compliment could change everything and keep you going for like a whole another 5 years on.
I would say for me, two things. One, people saying that I can't, like, we can't do that. You can't, I'm a person, oh yeah, tell me, and I'm gonna show you I can. So I think just being told that a couple of times, you can't do, or you shouldn't be doing that, that has allowed the fuel of me doing things. And then also, like, when I'm at shows, by the way, I've never been formally trained in voice, dance, or acting or anything. Everything I've learned by watching, and of course some classes here and there, but I've never been on the informal training. So to see the impact that just, that's why I tell people all the time, there's a difference between a talent and a gift. And I believe that I'm gifted in that. And just from my gift, being able to make room for you. And my grandma, very religious, growing up, Victor, your gift gonna make room for you. Your gift will make room for you. And actually seeing that come to pass, it's like, dang, she was right. So, seeing that come to pass without any formal training, people coming to my shows and be like, we were blessed by your show. You made me cry. You made me laugh. You made me, feel good inside. It's like, okay, because of you, like Brian said, because of you, I can keep pushing forward. So I always tell people, even when I teach my student leaders, like, somebody's life is dependent on you. So every time I touch the stage, I'm going out there performing, not as just, oh, it's just another chance to perform, but somebody's life is depending on my performance tonight. So I go out there with that mission.
I think what it was for me was a constant desire to keep learning and trying new things. That's really what kind of kept me pushing. I just always wanted to try new things out and test different things. And that's really what kind of keeps me going to this day. And that's what always kept me going. Yeah.
Awesome. Love that. And I think the most powerful thing that you said, Victor, was the difference between a gift and a talent. I never noticed that. But Brian, I think we were talking about that with someone wants to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to speak on the gift and talent part. Because just to quickly answer that question, same thing for me, like, you might not always know like what you're supposed to be doing, but there's indicators, you know what I'm saying? And I'm maybe speaking on a spiritual level too, but like there's indicators that you're moving in the right direction. So even while I was very confused about what I was doing, not seeing the financial income that, I got the talent, everybody telling me I'm dope, and I'm seeing all these other people around me make money, that could have very well pulled me away from my gift. And now, I'm realizing that I'm turning 30 in 2 months. Is like me sticking to that gift has done everything it's needed, to where I didn't need to be making all the money. I've been able to help people just from speaking to them for free. So I just really want to highlight that. Yeah, it's all gift based. We all born with a certain thing that we're supposed to do. And I guess the world kind of pulls us into school and jobs and all these things that kind of pull us out of it. But the creative people, arts, is how you kind of stick to what your original gift was, what your original purpose in this earth was. So yeah, shout out to all y'all, man. This is crazy.
And Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong. If you ever had a time when you found was like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, and you always get drawn right back to it. Like I've ever had that moment, like, you know what, dude, I'm maybe too old to be a rapper now, man. Every time I do it, it's like someone be like, nope, something always brings you back to it. Like Brandon, Victor, y'all nailed it. And another thing, and I just want to pick up back off Kevin, Don't Be Wasted Talent was another inspiration for me. The movie Bronx Tale, Sonny Ray's T, you know, Sonny always said, don't be wasted talent. So I'm with you on that, Kevin, and just always dabbling in something, you know, almost being like a renaissance man, because you never know what you could be good and what else you could be great at.
And to piggyback on that, what you said, Brandon, I appreciate that too, Brian. But the signs are always going to be there. And I remember when I was first getting started and I wasn't really sure if I wanted to pursue photography or video as a career. I remember Sora was actually getting married and she wanted me to come do her wedding pictures. And I was like, nah. She was like, please, I don't want anybody else to do them. I was like, nah. But what'll happen is that you'll have certain people that'll see your talent. They'll see what you're doing that you don't even see yourself, and they'll pull you along the way and push you into to growing to the person that you want to be. So.
Love it, love it, love it. And Brian, I think, touched on this as well. But I wanted to know how exactly has being a part of Phi Beta Sigma pushed you in working in the arts, or in, if they haven't, like, how can we better encourage or push or support you all in the arts?
So I will start. Actually, right after I was initiated, I went back to my step team and I did a show with MSC on FAMU campus, and literally all my line brothers came and they supported. And I was like, yo, this is dope. Like, my line brothers are at my show. And it just showed me that everybody, of course, appreciated it. And then, of course, when I became a member, I literally was given everything artsy in the chapter. I was over the Miss Phi Beta Sigma pageant. I was the step master. Everything that dealt with the arts, the chapter gave it to me. It was like, you do you, and we're gonna believe in you, and you're gonna make it happen. So that was a great push. And even to today, you know, having people like frats share my flyers or send people my way for references and stuff like that. Even being over the Miss Phi Beta Sigma pageant, like I do pageant coaching in Jacksonville. So if it wasn't for me being over the Miss Phi Beta Sigma pageant, I wouldn't have felt really into pageantry. So it kind of like enabled me to awaken talents inside of me that I didn't know. And now I'm making money off of pageant training. You know, I charge by the hour. So, you know, you booking me off of something I fell in love with by doing the Miss Phi Beta Sigma pageant. So definitely. Now I would say, I know that's not the case for everybody, but regardless if it's the fraternity or everybody, I believe that without the arts, there's no life for real. So I hope that everybody supports the arts in some type of form.
Yeah, I mean, without Phi Beta Sigma, I don't think I'd be doing what I'm doing. I got into the business because of frat, and the amount of movies that we made from come out shows and step shows and everything like that I was just using my camera. Like, we were doing a movie every, like, a couple times a year, just different videos, little things like that. So that's really what kind of pushed me to keep doing it. So.
Interestingly enough, and it might come, I don't want it to sound sideways, but Ruben, I've had plenty of conversations about this since early days in chapter. I was very much into what I was doing before Sigma. You know, I had been doing it throughout high school. I didn't join the frat until my junior year. And at that point, there was, you know, I had deals and things on the table as I disappeared. You know, throughout our process. So it's like, for a long time, and this is just me being upfront and transparent with y'all, like, for a little bit, I did feel like Sigma actually stalled my progression. And that's just an interesting way to look at it. Not intentionally, nothing like that, but just the idea that I disappeared when things were knocking on the door. And for a little bit, I felt like there was nothing in place through Sigma to push an artist. It was only stepping, like that was the closest thing you kind of got to creation, putting together shows and things like that. And granted, they're looking back, it's like, dang, I could have thrown an idea out there. Let me perform during a step show. Let me do something like that. But just there not being any platform for that, I felt like that's something I really wanted. So while not feeling bad about the fact, that's something I've always pushed directly to Ruben. Like, hey man, like, how do we do something with this too? Because there's talent, and maybe all these people don't step, maybe all these people don't do all these other things. But I will say since then, very similar to Kevin, because we all know the fraternity is about your connections with individuals. Yes, it's a brotherhood, but it's about building your actual relationships with people. You know, I have plenty older bros, you know, the Eric Ranges, the Zachs, you know, that took me in as well, as older bros. Kevin went through pretty much the same thing I went through, where Zach saw me start to build a photo studio in my house. He just invited me. He said, man, come to the studio. Like, don't worry about it. Like, just come out here and let me show you what I can do. Worked with him for about 2 years. And like, that did provide, like, I was able to quit my job off of that, you know what I'm saying? And really pursue entrepreneurship in my art, something that music couldn't even do for me. So that was something that directly came from a brother. So without saying that it ain't the frat held me back, but I just felt like there wasn't any platform. But nonetheless, it still worked out that way, because here we are. You know what I'm saying? Here we are actually discussing these things and trying to move forward with it.
One thing I just want to say, Mr. Clark, you in Orlando, man, we got a frat that worked with Tyler Perry. He actually is a photographer. He's worked in Black Panther movie, and he's worked on a few big movie sets. Like I say, Tyler Perry knows him by name. I think that might be a good brother you connect with. We could talk later. But with the frat with me, I think one of the biggest things that helped me out when it came to my contributions to the arts, especially when it came to music. My first mixtape I was ever on was a Sigma mixtape. And that was like cool as heck. You know, we had a chapter, for whatever reason, whole chapter thought they could rap. Whole chapter thought they had bars for some reason. So, you know, we would have 6, 7, 8 cats on one song with just a looped, just a looped instrumental. And you just got all these cats who think they can rap, but it was kind of like that kind of helped fuel me, because, you know, in a song, or almost like in baseball, you know, in certain situations, you're going to save your best for last, or, you know, you'll clean up. So that was kind of one of the things that helped push me. They knew when we did the mixtape, okay, Bush going last. You know, so that was kind of like my thing. So that was kind of what pushed me to continue, like, okay, maybe I'm okay at this rap thing. Maybe I'm okay at writing. Maybe that'll be another platform I could use, another hand I could see how good I am at. So that was kind of how the frat helped me. And then when it came to promotion, the frat just kind of stood behind me. Like, they didn't really argue with anything when I said we're going to do a party here and I got it all set up and we ain't got to put no money into it, but we still gonna make money off of it. Well, you know, there ain't nothing they can say. So I always had to support, because, you know, when it came to business, when it came to doing deals with DJs, businesses and promoting things, they knew that, you know, whoever I did business with, once we shook hands, you know, and you can trust that business is going to go through, because they're not going to cross me. So frat, we're going to get our money. So that was kind of like how things were when it came to the frat. They supported me in those ways. And I always just stood behind me whenever events we were promoting. But when it came to music, you know, that was like my first mixtapes, and I guess my first interactions with, some of my first interactions with recording.
Well, I'm glad to see that Sigma has helped all of us in some sort of way in our pursuit of the arts. Did you want to say something, Kevin? No? Okay. But one of my last questions, I guess, would be, what has been one of your favorite or highest moments in your experience working in the arts?
I got one. UCF homecoming 2019, 10 years after I started at UCF. I was granted the opportunity, and this is how Sigma's like fully all up and through this. One of our younger boys was planning the step show for homecoming. He reached out to me and my organization to put together a performance. So in its own way, my younger brother provided me the first opportunity I had to perform at the UCF arena, at the step show, with all of our bros literally in the front row. It was the Deltas over here, Sigmas and Zetas right here. And it was like, literally, so after all the things that I even just got finished saying, that was a big moment for like validation with the chapter, with the older bros that were there. It was like, yo, I can literally, my line brothers are standing there yelling from behind everybody. Like it was a beautiful moment. I also had one of our younger brothers open up the show with a poem, just on the Black plight and things like that. So that whole video is on YouTube, but like that, the idea of like our chapter really came together for that in its own way. Nobody really realized all those little things was happening, but we were all in the same mind frame somehow.
For me, every moment is always a high moment for me when I'm on stage. I just feel like it's amazing. I love it so much. I'm like, yeah. But I would say probably when I was in the chapter, it was like 2 months after we had just got initiated. And one of my mentors, he owned this step company, and he knew me since I was a little boy. He invited me, he was like, hey, I said, you're a Sigma now, come on. And we actually was invited to step in the, I don't know if y'all remember the Neighborhood Awards by Steve Harvey. We actually stepped for the MPHC step show at Steve Harvey. So I was like, oh, there's just another step show. But we walked out on stage, it had to be over 5,000 people in that room. And I was like, whoa. And then like when we left the step show, everybody was coming up to us. So I felt like a mini celebrity. So everybody was coming up to us. Oh my God, you did so good, you did so good. And it was just like, yo, this is dope. Like I am on this big platform. Of course, we didn't get to meet Steve Harvey, but we're performing at his weekend in Atlanta. Who cares? So it was just so dope to be on that stage and just to be in front of everybody. Like I think that's probably the biggest audience I've performed in front of. And then we did 2 shows. So it was one on the Friday day, and then the next is Saturday day. So just to have that rotation, and they treat us like we was Hollywood, free food, free backstage entrance. It was really nice. They booked our hotels, paid for that and everything. So that was dope.
I guess I'm still waiting to reach my high. I think I am. I think I'm still waiting to find what high I am when it comes to music. I think maybe when I get my first mixtape done, maybe that's when I'll be like, hey. But if I had to think about any moment that is kind of everything Victor said, that moment I was on stage, like the first time I had a microphone in my hand on stage in front of the Moore Auditorium. And for that, and I think it was a group of us, but for like the first 3 minutes, they weren't a part of this. It was just you. It was just me. So it's like, oh, I get to run this for me. Just I get to spit, and none of y'all. It was amazing because it wasn't even like that many people, maybe a couple hundred, but for that moment, it was like, I'm a star. I don't care what y'all say, I'm a star. Right now, Lil Wayne ain't got nothing on Butch. That's how I felt for that moment. So it was a big high, kind of like Victor said, just being on stage and having that moment to shine. And most rap artists will tell you, all of us have subconsciously we love to be on stage and be in front of things. You know what I'm saying? It's just you love to perform. So it's just the ability to do that. And then when you like Victor said, when you get that feedback, when you get people saying like, hey man, you was killing it up there. It's like, what? Maybe this is where it's at. So that was kind of like my high, but I still think I'm still trying to reach a certain level of accomplishment, at least for my own personal achievement. So I guess I'm still searching for that extra high, I guess, in a sense.
Man, it's funny that you say that because I'm still on the pursuit of my personal high, man. Like, and you look back, in hindsight is 2020, you look back at what has caused you to kind of shift and move gears and things like that. Early on in my career, I guess one of my personal highs was when we did the recruiting of the models for the T-Pain and Plies video, Shorty. And we was on set with celebrities. We was over here dapping up Rick Ross, hanging out with all these different celebrities and bringing all the models that were coming to it. But at that time, it put in perspective, it's like, yo, this shit is fake. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole music industry as a whole, like it just wasn't something I wanted to pursue. And as I was getting my degree in marketing, it really shifted towards to business. And I would say most recently, that shift, another high that I got was 3 years ago. I opened up my own studio in Palm Beach. And it's just been working with a lot of different politicians, man, working with a lot of different local entrepreneurs and things like that. And it's kind of shifted again to where it's more so giving back to people that are building up their business, different young people that are looking to pursue photography and video as a career. And maybe in another 10 years, I'll look back on something else and I'll put that as my high. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just a constant progression of not resting on what's happened, and continuing to pursue, and continuing to evolve as a person.
Thank you everyone for those comments. I definitely love the fact that, some people were saying that they had their high already. I know Victor and Brandon were saying that, but even for Brian and Kevin, I'm a personal believer, like, I think we all get multiple highs. Like the high is gonna top the next high, and we're gonna get to that level where it's like this was really the high that I think I was expecting. But that's most of the questions I have. Did anyone else have any other questions? I know some of our other students were reaching out that they had questions.
Caleb looked like he had a question.
All right. Yeah, I had a question. So, as a performer myself, I definitely agree with you all. Like when you say like there are certain like moments where you just kind of like feel like you're on top of the world, performing in front of other people, and that each moment kind of gets better than the last the more you progress. But is there like a moment where you feel that maybe you couldn't have done as well as like you maybe could have, and that might be holding you back? Just like a general question.
I think we're all probably perfectionists in a way. So I think like one thing about Babyface, everyone knows Babyface is. Babyface has dozens of hit records, but Babyface has not listened to any of his music, songs he's written for other people, because he says, if I hear that song, I'm gonna critique. I love My by Johnny Gill. Babyface wrote that. I don't see nothing wrong with that song, but Babyface here, he gonna be like, nah, I could have did this better, could have that better. So and not again, anyone can correct me. I'm just saying, like, I think a lot of us have our perfectionist ways. So I don't know if we're ever completely settled. Even when we nailed it, sometimes we still go back and be like, oh, I could have did this a little better, or I could have been a little more pointed at this moment. I could have said this or moved this way better. So I think most artists have that thing about them, that they're always looking to improve somewhat, because we're students of what we love. So we just always want to be our best at what we do. And I think we critique ourselves too much. And I don't know if we're ever satisfied, just my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree too. I would say, honestly, any true artist will never be satisfied or complete. After a performance, definitely, like, where the tape at? Let me watch it. Let me see what I did so I can do better. Like, for instance, in dance, I could hear us perform a song this way, but if I have a chance to change it the next time, I'm going to go change it because I'm going to see something different. But honestly, even outside of the artistic realm, if you're content in where you're at, you're not doing something right. So I'm always looking on how to become a better performer, become a better artist, because that's what artistry is.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to jump in, Caleb, too. I'm a, I guess, student performer. I don't know if I'm on that level yet, but I will say, even for me, like, and everything that I do, it's always like, after I will be like, dang, I wish I did this better. Or, I always wish, I hate that because, as a performer, I should have just did it the first time, right? But I guess in that moment, it's, a lot going on, nervousness, all of that. And I'll say, like, the last thing that I did, I recently ran for a King of Orange Green at my school. And, at the end, I did win, but there were so many moments where I was just like, I wish I could have did this better, or I wish even for the pageant, I wish I would have did this better, or walked better, or dressed differently. But I think at the end of the day, as long as you know that you can do better, it's the artist drive that you still have.
Question though.
I would want to add something to that too, because I think that is something that as artists we trick ourselves into believing, like there's no, like, we're gonna be satisfied. I've stressed myself about that thought for a long time, and I feel like if you find a way to be present in your wins, which every day is its own win, then that's how you continue to see like multiple highs, and don't let the ills of tomorrow or whatever else stop you from really fully believing in what you're doing today. Because I literally did that for about 5 to 10 years. So I just don't want to let that thought go by. Like, no, we don't have to feel as if we're not satisfied. Like, the fact that we woke up and can do anything within our arts is already a blessing, because there's a lot of people that just don't even have access. So just as long as we're pursuing that daily and getting closer to what we're supposed to be pursuing, and you feel good about it, like just keep doing that.
Keep learning.
That's a really good point, because I mean, a career in the arts is, for most people, a fantasy. I'm saying, like, for a lot of us, we're not even really supposed to be here. You know, like, we're not supposed to be doing this. We're not supposed to be pursuing this craft. It's a fantasy. So being able to appreciate the fact that you are there and being present in that moment is really the reality of it. Because like all artists, I mean, we're gonna look at it and be like, you know what? I feel like this last photo shoot, it wasn't really my best work. Like, I haven't posted a lot on my Instagram because, like, I feel like it's not really in line to what I'm doing. And I got to try and constantly remind myself, it's like, yo, you better than you were yesterday. You got to kind of continue to keep pursuing it. But you always have that voice in the back of your head, like, I could do better. I could do better. I could do better. But look at it this way. If you're making money, like, make your money, bro. Continue to, like, focus on creating your craft. But if you're looking at it as art as a business, make your money and continue to kind of push yourself and grow. But as a career, like, make money in that career, find the different lanes of how to pursue it as a career, so that you can continue to do something that you love.
Thank you.
Speaking of art, just let y'all know, man, in Orlando, we bringing the poetry show back, man. Just want to throw that out there real quick. Shameless plug. Essence of the Soul back, though. Yeah.
Hey, Chaz, if I can, I got a quick question.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
And you're going to get off of calling me sir and Mr. Grant. I'm just going to let you know that. First of all, I got to give a huge shout out because we got brother Harris Wilshire on here, better known as Picasso.
What's up, Casso? What's going on, man?
Artist beyond artist. And
I know I feel old.
I want him to get in on this conversation a bit. But bros, if there was just a couple of nuggets that you could drop for somebody that's getting into the pursuit of their passion, something that you wish somebody had told you somewhere along the line, you know, what would that be?
It's your passion. It's your passion. Like, you know, don't focus on don't focus on the negativity in your area, you know, with everything that's, like, a lot of people, like Victor said, when someone tells you you can't do something, keep doing it. If you love it, if it's in your heart, if it's in you, it's in you. And the only thing I would say, one thing I would love to say, just, like, you know, always pursue that, you know, don't run away from that voice. Don't run away from that thing that keeps pushing you or gravitating you towards it. If that's what it is, keep doing it. Don't worry about everything else. If you love it, do it, because sometimes the money gonna come later. You know what I'm saying? But ain't nothing wrong with doing what you love to do, even if it's not making money right now. You don't need instant gratification, because that love, that passion, if you continue learning and continue being a student of your art, trust me, you will definitely see how your gifts, not just your talents, but your gifts will pay off. That's all I got to say.
I would say two things. One, get you a mentor. I know oftentimes we always try to say, I'm trying to get it myself. No, in this artistry, it's important that you have a mentor, or either you have somebody you look up to. Like myself, I look up to Tyler Perry. I done listened to almost every one of his speeches. I done watched every play, and I'm taking notes. And I'm saying, hey, I want to take this from him because I think he's great. He's great. But it's very important that you have a mentor, even somebody to bounce out ideas off of, you know, because sometimes, even myself, I know some of the stuff I be thinking it'd be crazy, but I always have to bounce things off.
Yeah.
It's important that you. I'm a singer, but I know, you know, singing note if you ask me.
Victor, I think you're breaking up.
Yeah, I was about to say you're going in and out of it. Did we lose him?
While he's trying to come back, did anyone else have any more nuggets? I'm loving the nuggets so far.
How you brothers doing? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, hey, how y'all doing? My name is Jason Sweet, and I'm in Atlanta, and I was gonna echo those sentiments. I'm a sculptor. I taught fine arts for 20 years in higher education, and I'm in the TV film industry and all that stuff. And so, kind of echoing those sentiments of just still finding a way to stay creative. You know, my main thing is my sculpture, but to echo the sentiments of a mentor, I had, when I was an undergrad, I had 2 artists that I was apprentice with, and I learned, and I got paid. I got paid to work on their sculptures. So I learned more out of those 2 men that I did outside of school. So I learned the business of art making and applying for commissions and things like that. Applying for graduate school. So yeah, that mentor, and they're lifelong. I'm still in touch with them and things like that. So that mentor is so important. It's so important. And then also in time of mastery or whatnot, being able to take some people under your wing, pass that information on. So.
Now, Jay Sweet, you just can't jump on here, drop nuggets, and run off. You got to put your contact info in the chat.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'll do
that. That's another Iowa mobster, y'all. See, I ain't the only Sigma from Iowa.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I'll do that.
So there's 2.
I'll put in my website and all that stuff. I've got a website for my artwork and all that and things that I do. So yeah, man, definitely will. Let me go to the information thing.
I couldn't agree though, man, because I made a lot of mistakes doing all my promotions by myself. Definitely having a mentor would have made a big difference.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna be in the arts, one gentleman, he's an old school guy. He told me, he said, one thing that you have to do sometimes, particularly if you're in education and you're in the arts, is to learn how to be selfish. Because otherwise, if you give all your time to everyone else, you're not going to have enough creative energy to do things for yourself.
Yep.
So that's one thing, which is a very difficult thing to do, because as an educator, you're in the business of giving. In education, you're always giving. And so to say to someone who is in the profession of giving, to say, be selfish, I mean, that's a very difficult thing to do. So the other thing I would say is believe in yourself. Like, if you're doing it for money, then, I mean, obviously, that's what's going to drive you. But from a creative standpoint, if you're just creating and you're building and you're growing, it's just like I explained to some of my students at FAMU. It's like exercising. If you want to get strong, you got to go to the gym. And you can't go to the gym one day and then think you're going to be strong. You got to go almost every day, and you got to go over a period of time. And so what happens is, once you do that, then that's when you become stronger in whatever it is that you're doing. And then the third thing I would say is respect the craft. So a lot of people do not respect the craft. They think that because you do it so easily, whether it's teaching people how to do a step performance or do a sculpture or whatever it is, they think because they can see you do it and you have the energy, the passion, the talent, and the output, that it's easy or something like that. And that if you don't respect the craft, then they'll try to pay you anything or pay you nothing. So respect the craft and what you do, because you have spent hours, thousands of hours, right, perfecting it, right? So respect the craft. So that's it for me.
I say another thing is follow your instincts. You're gonna get people to suggest all kind of different things to you. follow what's true to you and what your instincts are. And because as an artist, we question everything. Like we question whether or not we're good or bad or worth it. We question everything, and we question it 1,000 different times. But if you really follow your instincts, follow your gut on what you need to be doing, how creative you want to be, or how you want to pursue it as a business, follow your instincts, because at the end of the day, that's what got you here, and that's what's going to take you to the next level.
Warren Buffett says, he says no to dozens and thousands of things, because if they don't pursue his agenda, there's no point in me putting my time, effort, and money into it. So just another thing, many successful people, one thing like Picasso was saying, they're selfish. They say no to a lot of ideas, a no to a lot of things, because it don't push your agenda. It doesn't push your agenda. It's like, this ain't what I'm trying to do. Yeah, it's a great opportunity, but it ain't what I'm trying to do. And most successful people say no to a lot of things. Not saying you should not open the door to opportunity, but a lot of ideas just ain't about what you're trying to do. So it kind of goes with what Kevin and Picasso saying. You have to be selfish, and again, stick to your instincts. You know what you're trying to do. Stick to what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I was gonna add around that too. It's be honest. Always be honest in your work. Be honest. Gotta be honest. I mean, if I'm like, I don't do music, but if country was my thing, I should be doing hip hop. That's that's what I mean by that. But just be honest in your work. So
I'd like to add to that, just in terms of being honest with your work, and even going with the following the instincts that Kevin spoke on. Just be okay with being yourself, because everything, not just the music industry, everything outside of you is going to try to tell you to be it. When the greatest key is just really honing into yourself, because there's literally nothing else that has your exact circumstances, been through your exact same experiences. So ultimately, that's how you provide what you're supposed to provide to the world, just by being yourself. So in terms of staying true to your art, stay true to yourself, like, because that then creates the best art. Now, I did have a little piece of something that popped in my head when Brian spoke. I wrote this thing where I was like, yo, I found my groove and influence. I busted you on a show if it ain't growing the movement, just slowing improvement. I'm only focused on honing my skills, balancing my chi until I'm free flowing over your deals. To the fact that we can move independently, you know what I mean, with our own minds and do what we want to do. So just speaking on that, bro, like we hitting it on the head. Like I want to take a time, if we don't mind, real quick, just a little pause to really appreciate like what's happening here. This is something I've literally been asking for since 2012. And like to see the brothers in here that have taken the time to reach out to me personally, do out that pursuit, and we all do things and have our own conversations. Like, this is great, man. I really want to highlight that. Like this, that's all I gotta say, man.
Hey, look, it deserves to be highlighted, man. Good point.
I know my connection went out or something, so I want to finish what I was saying. It's a life poem that I live by called the Minute Poem. I have only just a minute with 60 seconds in it. Didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to me how I use it. Answer for it. If I abuse it, take account. If I lose it, just a tiny little minute, but eternity is in it. And I applied it to my artistic life because every minute is important. And if you don't spend that minute on your dreams and your aspirations, you can't get that back. Like I tell people, you can do whatever you want to do to me, but my time, I can't get my time back. So if I'm investing my time, I'm going to go all the way, because I can get money back. I can get other things back, but you can never get your time back. So make sure you're investing your time and your gift and what it is you want to do.
I just wanted to add something real quick. Stephen Frost, I guess I'm one of the Midwest Iowa bros that's on here, but one of the things that I put it in the chat, but I've been really getting more inspiration from us listening to you, bros, and this, observing and hearing your stories. The biggest thing for a takeaway from me is just that art is I'm a fine artist by training, but I haven't been doing it until recently. I've just been feeling that draw back to the arts, and just that focus on, trying to use my art to help others as well as help myself, through creative art therapy. I mean, that's one of the things that I'm really focused on right now. And, just understanding that so much of what you do, regardless of whatever art form you're involved in, it's part of your passion. you're giving a part of yourself in every art piece, every performance, I mean, that's the difference between us and, you know, some of these other STEM disciplines, is that we give so much of ourselves. You know, when I give away my art piece, I got to make sure it's going to a good home. I mean, that's just the way I look at it. You know, and that's what I tell people when I'm selling it to them. I say, hey, I got to make sure it's the right place. If it's not, then I don't feel comfortable letting it leave me, because that's a part of me. You know, and that's I think that's part of it that I think from this listening to you, that's where I need to be reconnected with. Because right now, I went through corporate America, I'm in education right now, but there's just that piece of me that I know that's been missing. And that's where I know it's, you know, trying to recreate that connection that's there.
And I just want to come back and quickly reiterate that I agree with Brandon. What's happening right now is definitely amazing. And just a nugget, I guess I would share as a young artist, someone who's interested in the arts, is, I guess, focus on your individual pursuit. I know when I first started coming to FAM, I wasn't a theater student. I never did theater before. I think I took one class in high school and that was it. And I remember watching one play at the Essential Theater, which is FAMU's theater program. And I was like, I'm gonna do theater. Like, I don't care what no one says. And I remember I tried to change my major, but my scholarship wouldn't let me. So I was like, I'm a double major. And I remember the first day I was in class, you know, I'm in class with students that are like, I've been doing theater since I was born or since I was 5. And I'm looking at them like, okay, this is my first day out here. So I don't really know what's what. And I will say, like, that kind of scared me as a new person to it. Cause, you know, I'm over here thinking I'm not going to be as great as them because I didn't start when they started. But like matriculating through FAMU, I learned like I have to focus on what I'm doing. I have to stay in my own lane so I can get where I want to go. So that's my nugget.
I just want to say shout out to Jason talking about he working on Ozark. Y'all, I don't know if y'all see that in the chat, but that's pretty huge. That's on Netflix.
It is.
Shout out to Signals. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's
I've
up.
worked on Ozark, Watchmen, Raising Dion. Yeah, Raising Dion. Yeah. Man, a lot of stuff. There's been a lot of stuff.
See, and that's what we need to know. That's why I was like, man, we got a frat that was working with Tyler Perry and the Black Panther movie right in Orlando.
Yeah, brother, that's one of the things about the organization. If you reach out, I keep telling, especially young cats, it's like there is somebody out there within our organization that is doing or has done what you're interested in doing and being involved in. We also have a bro out on the West Coast who's a executive producer for like a bunch of shows on like the Food Network, you know, and that's his grind, you know. So, you know, bros, I don't mean to interrupt. We got any more questions before because I don't want to shut it down. If there's more questions, anybody else got more they want to talk about?
My team already drafted Trevor Lawrence, so.
Oh, so you're going like that? Okay, appreciate you, Butch.
Just said my team went for a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So you know.
All right. If not, man, first and foremost, thank you, all my brothers, for all the conversation, all the panelists. Brother Chaz Clark, please, bros, give it up for Brother Chaz on here. Even though he called me Mr. Grant, it's all good, man. I appreciate you moderating this, bruh. You know, that's you know, as they say, our next generation stepping up, and that's really what inspired this whole thing. Bros who may know me, my wife is a fine artist. You know, my mother was a trained classical opera singer, so artistry is in my blood. I have the voice, but I ain't got the song gift talent. You know, I did step a little bit.
Trying to find your song. You got to find your song, brother.
You know, hey, you say you got to recognize your gifts and talents. I recognize it, you know, but it is what it is. But one of the things I took from tonight, all the information you guys give out, we talked about the arts, but anybody in our organization can pull items from tonight's conversation. The pursuit of passion, the drive, developing mentorship, giving back to others, following your instincts. Those things transcend beyond just artistry. If you're in STEM or if you decide to be an educator or whatever, all those things can still coincide and go forth in that. So, bros, I appreciate y'all. Please make sure that you all have shared all your information with each other. I'm gonna make sure we share this Zoom out with the rest of the brothers in the state, and we might post it out in Authentic Sigma blog or something like that, so other people can get off this knowledge and stuff. And I pray this is not the only item that we do. B-Pain will tell you, I'd actually talked to him about doing a visual arts competition within the state and trying to work that out, and us kind of pursuing that avenue, performing arts competitions, things of that nature. And then COVID hit. So, but that's still in the works there. And whether I do it or the next state director or might be Brother Chadwick Clark, who, state director number, whatever, however, we want to just keep pushing this, brothers, keep pushing this, promoting and absolutely just connecting creatives. I love that term, connecting the creatives. So thank you, everybody again. God bless you. Go Mob. I gotta say Picasso for jumping on. Thank you, my brother. Brother Mount, the man, the myth, the legend on here. B-Pain, Victor, Kevin, Butcher, Brother Chadwick Clark, also known as Chad. Thank you all, my brothers. Y'all all have a safe one, and I appreciate you. Go Mob.
Thank you guys again, man. Go Mob.
Go Mob. Hey, hold on real quick. Let's take a picture. Everybody on, let's do a screenshot. Everybody's on here. Let's take a picture. Go ahead and show your face.
Go and run it.
Hold on. Everybody come out.
Everybody about to pop.
I said, hey.
There we go. Dex, where you at?
Dex, put your screen on, man. Radio.
We good?
All right, 1, 2. Everybody ready? There we go. We got it.
Ooh, appreciate that, man.
That's fly.
Thanks, brothers.
Take care, everybody. Have a good night.
All right, bros. Have a good night.
All right, y'all. All right, B.
Bye.